Good evening, everyone. Again, myself Partha, and I'm going to discuss the Assam GK, which is a lecture 21 of this prelims booster course. Right. We have discussed last 7 lectures, right, of this Assam GK part, which will be very beneficial for you for your upcoming prelims examination, right, which is on 12th of September. So it is very much important from that point of view. So let's discuss the article or the lectures today. The first lecture we will be covering, that is the revolution and the evolution of newspaper in Assam. The history of Assamese newspaper is 150 years long, actually, which carries a rich legacy of revolutionary times and events throughout the process of development, right? So you can say several newspapers have come, several newspapers and then magazines have flourished the Assamese literatures, actually. The first Assamese newspaper, that is Orunodai, was published in 1946. Okay, so it is these whatever I am discussing are very much important from your prelims examinations right now. Okay, and okay, so the Arunodai, which was published in 1846, that is the first Assamese newspaper, right? The American Baptist missionaries, what we have talked yesterday also, who were the torchbearer of setting up printing press and publishing newspapers in Assam, were also the founding fathers of Arunodai as well as journalism in Assam. So they were the founding fathers, you can say, of Arunodai by setting up the printing press in Assam, right? And also they also pioneered the journalism in Assam. With a colonial touch of the Western civilization, newspaper service started almost, you can say, at the same time in the three neighboring states of Assam, Bengal, and Orissa. So in this, you can also see the emergence of Arunodai, the details about it, which is not that important, to be honest, from the prelims perspective. But it is important from your mains perspective, by the way, where there is a paper of, according to the new pattern of APSC, in that there is a paper which talks about, which requires the full or detailed knowledge about Assam, where you have to write answers related to Assam. So for that, you can read this history of Arunodai also, right? The beginning of newspaper age, the number of newspaper was published one second. So sorry. Sorry for technical issues. The mic was off. So what I was discussing, that the beginning of newspaper age, right? So number of newspapers is published in Assam from the mid 19th century. The newspaper which started the age of newspapers in the real sense of Assam. A nationalistic weekly newspaper published from Guwahati in 1894. The language of the second weekly newspaper in Assam was mainly Assamese. However, some letters and articles regarding some special issues were published in English too. Right? An English weekly, Times of Assam, was published in 1895 from Dibrugarh. from Dibrugarh, right? So this newspaper edited by Rabindranath Chakraborty. Sorry, I'm really sorry. Radhanath Chakraborty. I was thinking about something else. So Radhanath Chakraborty. I'm so sorry. So sorry. I was having some. Was thinking about something else and I was taking the sorry. So Radhanath Chankakoti brought out kind of renaissance into the tradition of newspapers of Assam. The newspaper, with its shape and size, incorporating various news articles, commercial ads actually, and business informations and social events, etc., was in that newspaper also, right? So the appearance of Jonaki is very significant from the perspective of Assamese newspaper and the journals, right? The significant even history of Assam newspaper and journals. Ohomia Bhaha Unnati Hadini Sabha published it as a manifesto in 1889. Ohomia Bhashar Unnati Hadini Sabha, in 1889 they published it from Kolkata under the editorship of Kumar Agarwala. Jonaki contributed a great deal towards the initiation of a process of literacy or literary renaissance in every sphere of Assamese language, right? So it is very much important. So these sort of informations are very much important from your prelims as well as from your mains examination, right? So the important Western literary forms and ideal subjective poetry and novels into Assamese literature. Chandra Kumar Agarwala, Lakshmiyat Besbarua, Hemchandra Goswami, these literary, you can say, the personalities of Jonaki Ace prepared the ground for Assamese literature, right? So you know these things in some bits and pieces, maybe. Following the footsteps of Jonaki, many other such journals like Bijuli in 1890, Aham Banti 1900, Ukha 1907, Bonhi 1909, Advocate of Assam, etc., etc., were also started growing. Another milestone in the history of Assamese literature in the publication of Ohomia 1980-58, Assamese journalism got a boost with its motto of patriotism, Janani Janmabhumishwa Sargadapi Gariya. Right? So that is the motto in that time. Assamese newspaper or journals were not published with business purpose in 19th century. Right? And the first half of the 20th century, they could be recognized as a cottage industry. The number of their circulation was so limited that they could not yield any profile to the publishers, or you can say they could not yield any profit, or any, you can say, they could not give any a monetary benefit to the publishers. Moreover, without any proper and prompt communication infrastructure within the state, these newspapers lag behind the other newspapers of modern age in respect of newspaper collection and news coverage. Right. So these are some you can say uh, lacunas of these sort of newspapers, right? So newspapers and magazines currently being published in Assam: Assami Daily, Ahomia Protidin, Azir Ahom, Doinik Janambhumi, Doinik Agrodut, etc., etc. Then English Daily, Assam Tribune, which we analyze and provide you the analysis every day, right? As a current affairs class, right? The Sentinel, the Eastern Chronicles, Northeast Times, etc. Hindi Bengali Daily, Samay Prabha, Hindi Sentinel, Sonar Kachar, right? Sambat Lahori, Lahori also. The Hindi Khabar, Dainik Jug Jugshankha, that is, it is also the Dainik Bhaskar's part also. It's Dainik Bhaskar's, right? Hello guys. Good evening. So then bi-weekly newspapers also, Agradut, Hadin, etc. These are sort of bi-weekly or weekly newspapers also right now. This is present, right? So then children's and youth magazine. These are the children's and youth magazine. Assamese newspaper worked as a medium of expressing the opinion of the weapon for struggle and agitation, the tool of reformation. The children's magazines are also in that part. The monthly magazine said in 1929, Avahan was published from Kolkata under the patronage of Zamindar Nogendra Narayan Chaudhary. Right, Nogendra Narayan Chaudhary, editorship of Dinonath Sharma. Avahan could acquire same standard with other contemporary Indian magazine of that time. Right. So then let's move on that Jayanti, another magazine published in the first half of the 20th century, 1938-49, right? So these are some sort of data about the Assamese newspapers and magazine of Assam, right? So you can also read about these things. In 1947, almost at the same time with the Assamese Tribune, Saptahik Janambhumi was published from the Jorhat, right? This is the oldest newspaper which has been in the circulation continuously till date, right? So Ramdhenu was another important journal of Assam which was published from Guwahati in 1951, right? So these are some sort of important. I am just discussing about the important facts which is very much important from your prelims perspective. Assam Tribune Group published Ahom Bani in 1955, Doinik Ahom in 1965, etc. Both are important newspapers of present time. Uh, Haptahik Nilachal in 1964, Ogradut 1971, biweekly at the beginning, right? So these are some newspapers and monthly magazines as well. So then the sudden flood of newspapers after the from the decade of 80s, then that is from the time of the Assam agitation, right? From 1975, you can say from that period, 1975-80 period, the sudden flood of newspaper came, right? So various newspaper at that time, new newspapers came at that time also. The numbers of daily newspapers in Assam more than a dozen. Similarly, number of weekly and quarterly hours also high. Right. At that time, it has witnessed a very spike in the graph also. Right. Janambhumi, Saptahik Janambhumi in Assamese weekly is published from the Jorhat in 10 March 1947. This is the oldest newspaper which has in the circulation continuously till date. Right. So it is very much important. So then Ahom Bani weekly Assamese newspaper published from Guwahati. The weekly was launched by Assam Tribune Group on 1st of July 1955. Okay, so let's move. Then Doinik Ahom 1965. They can ask you in the chronology also. Ogradut, right? Then 1971. Then you have Doinik Janambhumi, right, in 1972. Then the Sentinel, 1983. Azir Ahom, in the late 80s, right? Then Hadin, so 1989. So these are some important newspapers, right? Also, then Prantik and significant fortnightly news magazine, 1981. Then Ahomia Protidin, 1995. See the chronology. Doinik Agrodut, 1995. Then Amar Ahom, 1997. Goryoki 1993, Aji 2000, right? March 2000. Doinik Jonohadharan 2003, Aji Doinik Batori 2005, Elinor Hombad 2006. Then there is Evening Daily also, right? These are some sort of data about the Evening Daily. In 1991, another Evening Daily for India Batori. And then in 1980s, that started, right? So these are some sort of important events in the newspapers and magazine field of Assam, right? Then important places and historical monuments. Agnigarh, situated in Tezpur. Agnigarh is a site of fortress which was built by Banasur. You will read these things in the Assam history. Assam history, which is in our channel. That is the prelims booster, or you can say in that channel only, the YouTube channel. You can freely access that Assam history part also. Right. The Banasur, to keep his daughter Ukha in the isolation, then it's the name itself derived from the word Agni, meaning the fire, and Gaur means fortress or wall in Sanskrit. Right. So this is the Agnigarh. Then Azanpit Durga. Azanpit Durga in Durga, 17th century Muslim saint, is located at Soraguri Sapori, about 20 kilometers northwest of Hibohagar. Azanpir was the first saint to compose zikir in Assamese language. Azanpir Durga was built during the reign of King Godadhar Singha. Right, Godadhar Singha. This Dargah has ever since attracted lakh of Hindus and Muslim devotees in time in memory. Amingaon, situated in the north bank of Brahmaputra, right? So it is the, you can say the Amingaon is the industrial activities. It's known for the industrial activities and with the mini steel plant and mini paper plant, right? So it is known for the these sort of events. Assam State Zoo, some botanical garden. It is very much important. It is area is 175 hectare, right? So it is in the RG Borwa Road in Guwahati, right? Then Ashwagandha temple. This temple is being famous for the Hindus, were constructed by the king Hibohingha in 1720, situated on the bank of river Brahmaputra. Right. Then Badarpur, it is one of the biggest railway junctions under the Northeast Frontier Railway. Balaji Temple, then Bamuni Pahar Ruin, right? Bamuni Pahar Ruin, then Borpata. We all know about the Borpata, right? So then I have discussed about the Borpata in the culture thing also, like cultural chapter also. So then Bokhistastram, right? Bokhistastram is situated in a southern most rim of Guwahati city in the Handyansal Hill, as well as known as Holy Come Picnic Spot, right? Called the Bokhistastram. Batadrava, Bordwa, right? Bordwa, situated in district of about 18 kilometers from Nagaon town. Batadrava, Bordwa is a famous seat of the Vaishnavas, right? Vaishnava colored, famous actually place for that. Birthplace of Sri Sri Hankardev, Alipukhuri, Bordwa. Then Belsor, an important place in the rural growth center, Nalbari district, right? Belsor. Bilveswar Devalaya is also, the Belsor is also famous for the Bilveswar Devalaya, right? Bhairavkunda, place unique natural beauty. Bhairavkunda is a tri-junction of Bhutan, Assam and Arunachal. It is 20 kilometers, 22 kilometers from the district headquarters of Udalguri town, right? Bhairavkunda is the meeting point of the river Zia Dhanhiri, Bhairavi, and Daifang. The meeting point of rivers looks like Kunda, worshipping place of Lord Shiva. Right. Then Bhalukpung, One second. Then Bhalukpung, surrounded by mystic blue hills, right? Mystic blue hills. Then Bhomoraguri, 11 kilometer east of Tejpur, right? Then you have Bhubaneswari temple, distance from the Kamakya temple, and Bhubaneswari temple from where one can have a panoramic view of the Brahmaputra river in Guwahati city. Bishwanath Sariali, you all know about these things. Bishwanath Sariali in the 75 4 kilometer east of Tezpur town, right? Then Bokajan, and then Bongaigaon, बूढ़ी गोसाई देवलरी sorry बूढ़ी गोसाई देवालय ठीक है the देवालय it is Durga temple situated in Jorhat. Then also some other places like Chandas Mirghor, then Chandubi Lake, Soraideo কিহৰ কাৰণে famous? First capital of Ahom kingdom built by Sukafa. It is famous for that reason. Then Saridwar is located about 34 kilometers north of Tejpur, right? The Saridwar is famous for the forest produce exported to various parts of the state. During 19th century, the rubber taped at Saridwar yielded a handsome revenue, right? So Sutia, also called as, that is the 63 kilometers from the Tejpur, right, railway station and the commercial center of the North Rang Road. Chitralekha Udyan, Pole Park, Daw Parbatia, the oldest relic until now discovered at and are preserved in the village of Daw Parbatia. It is very much important. It is 5 kilometers west of Tezpur. Stone door frame preserved in the village is considered to be the 5th or 6th century. Right, ruins of the door frame of Daw Parbatia are perhaps the finest and the oldest specimen of sculpture or iconic art of Assam. Right, so it is very much important, the Daw Parbatia. Then Daranga, right? Daranga. Then Dolgovinda Mandir. This is important. Then Dergaon, Dhekiajuli, Dhemaji, Deephu. These are some important locations of Assam, right? I cannot discuss all of this, right? We have time constraints also, and it is not a very wise to discuss all of this, right? Not go by these things. We'll just discuss the important ones. Then we have also discussed the population in the population chapter only, right? Population difference or all these things we have discussed in the population chapter, if you can remember. These are the populations of different states, districts. Then awards and honors. You can also follow this awards and honors in the prelims booster. There's a lecture of, maybe Rajiv sir took it or maybe I took it, I don't know. I forgot. The prelims booster where we have discussed the awards and venues. Right. So you can follow that lecture also. Okay. Okay. So Ahom Saitya Sabha Award. Ahom Saitya Sabha is the pioneer which has instituted as many as 25 or so award for literature of various kind. Right. So it also gives honors and titles to those who have contributed tremendously towards the Assamese language, literature, and culture. Right. So it is very much important, the award and honors in Assamese. You can, or you can say the some public service commission examinations also. To me, to important titles that is conferred by the Sabha are, that is Hodasha Mohan and Sahitya 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 Sarja. Okay. Assam Sahitya Sabha also crowned. One second, you can see maybe. Okay. Also crowned Dharmeshwari Devi Boruani as the Kaibya Bharati title, and Lakshminath Besburua was crowned Rohra's title. Right? Many awards of this organization has been temporarily withheld or stopped. Okay. So then Ahom Valley Literary Award, we have discussed about these also. Then these are the awardees who got the award, right, till 2030. Anandaram Borua Award, one scholar of Assamese language, literature, culture, of linguistics, chosen very year for this award. Simanta Honkadev Award, the government of Assam issued this prestigious award to honor the persons of eminence of field of journalism, art, culture, literature and in the name of the Mahaprabhu Srimanta Honkadev in 1986 it was started. So these are some names who got the Srimanta Honkadev award. Then you have Vishnu Rava Award, Lasid Award, Publication Board Award, right? Then Pravina Hoikya Award, right? So these are some awardees or recipients of this award also. Aham Lekhika Hongsta Award. We have discussed about ML Kadbora Award in that award and venue also, right? So please follow that lecture also. Kunjwala Devi Award, Memorial Award, right? Kamal Kumari National Award. So these are some important awards of Assamese literature and culture. So who got the Sadisha Mohan and Saito Sarja? So these are some important recipients of award. Yeah, all these things I won't repeat and again because all these things are covered in the prelims poster. Okay, in details. These are some awards and winners from films from Assam, right? For films from Assam. These are the books and authors, right? Books and authors. You can also see the books and authors here. All the books and authors you have covered. You will get the PDF also, right? So you can cover all the books and authors from this list also. So with that today I will be ending this class, right? So with that we will discuss the next lectures till lecture 17 from 12. We'll discuss in tomorrow's class. Tomorrow will be the ending of the Assam GK part. Okay, with this I'm ending this class. Okay, so thank you very much.